Welcome back. The Biden administration is proposing a new rule expanding overtime pay requirements. The new rule would require employers to pay overtime to workers who make less than $55,000 a year. That's up from the current threshold of over $35,000 imposed by the Trump administration. The Biden administration is also proposing automatic increases to the salary level every year. Joining me right now is Utah Congressman. He's member of the House Education and Workforce Committees and the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committees, Burgess Owens, back with us this morning. Congressman, thanks very much for being here this morning.
Good morning, Maria. I look forward to chatting with you.
Yeah, so business leaders say setting salary requirements too high could worsen staffing challenges for small businesses. That's all we've been talking about for the last couple of years, these challenges that small businesses are facing because of a tight labor market. Your thoughts?
Well, the challenges come to small businesses when you have people running the government that have no idea how small business works. We have out in the free market, out in the country, we have innovators. We have folks who take risks. They look at the market. They make decisions based on what's going to be best for them, based on the customer. And then you have these bureaucrats like Biden, who've never touched a business, have no idea how it works, and so it's very easy for them to make rules and put down laws that impact this industry. And by the way, why do they continue to go after the small business owners? Because it powers the middle class. A robust middle class is where we get our freedom. That's the class that understands empathy, legacy, making sure their kids have a great future. And most importantly, this is the class that says, leave me alone. Let me run my business. Let me run my life. I don't want your input. I can figure this out myself. And that is the greatest threat to the hard left. So you wonder why they continue to put these rules in place, because they want to destroy that group of people, the middle class, that truly understands freedom and wants to move forward.
So you think it's about power? They just want to run their lives and take freedom away?
It's all about power, Maria. And think about everything these guys touch. What have they done so far that's given American people a break? Everything the Biden administration has done is going just the opposite. They take away people's hopes, they take away people's dreams, the optimism of who we are and what we are. And it goes even as far as education. We're not talking about the free enterprise system. We have the greatest system in the history of mankind, and we have failed our kids for decades to explain what it is that made us who we are, about the risk takers and the innovators and all this kind of stuff. So it's no question about power, and I'm looking forward to American people pushing back on it in the big time.
Well, there is a lot of pushback. Conservative watchdog for Americans' public trust says that the Department of Transportation is dragging its feet on handing over Secretary Pete Buttigieg's private flight records for taxpayer-funded trips. The group filed its first information request for the flight logs last November, but they have not received any logs yet. The Federal Aviation Administration repeatedly missing the deadlines, Congressman. So what are your thoughts here on the Transportation Committee, given that we get stonewalled every time anyone's asking for information from this administration?
Well, that's the way these guys roll. They have no shame when it comes down to breaking the rules, not really stepping up to the plate when they're asked to do what you're supposed to do. And I tell you, I think your last segment, you talk about what the power of the purse. I finally understand after the second term the power of, first of all, the administration, our conference being as majority, and doing things like appropriations. We can begin to pull back funding for when these administrative bureaucrats don't do what they're supposed to do. We start pulling back the funding of that, and that's where our strength comes from. So let's not be surprised that at the end of the day, between this, the Hunter Biden, there's so many areas that we've been asking for information, and they're not giving it to us because they don't feel they have to.
Yeah, but I mean, you're talking about the power of the purse. How are you going to get the work done in 2 weeks? I mean, let's face it, you've got to come back the week of September 12th. Then you've got 2 weeks before the government runs out of money. Your colleagues are running an investigation into Joe Biden for potential bribery and money laundering, and you're getting stonewalled there. But how do you have a probe deepen when a government is shut down? That investigation shuts down as well. So what are you going to do in terms of voting for this continuing resolution, Congressman Owens?
I will be voting for the continuing resolution. At the end of the day, we want to make sure that we want to make sure, first of all, we can continue to run our business. At the same time, we do have a lot on our plate. We have a very short period of time. It's going to be, I think, almost impossible for us to do it all within the next 2 or 3 weeks. We have to have a continuing resolution. What I'm hoping is that we can come together as a conference and recognize that we have to to make sure that we're doing the people's work.
Okay.
Obviously, there's a lot of frustration when it comes down to dealing with the government, dealing with bureaucrats who do not believe in rule of law, do not believe in doing their job correctly. We want to pull back as much money as we can and to stop and have them to pay the price. But at the same time, we have to do it in a very, very smart way, do it strategically. So we're making sure that the American people are and not being again sidetracked about the issues that we really want to make sure we take care of. So by the time we come into the next year, we've put together the issues that are our priorities, and make sure that we can strengthen our majority, to say the least.
Well, people are frustrated as well by this application of the law, which seems to be different when you look at the way it's treated for Biden versus Trump. I know, Congressman, you endorsed former President Trump for the 2024 presidential election earlier this month. In a statement, you said, quote, "As a child born in the segregated South, I witnessed Donald Trump help the black community more than any president in my lifetime. Record growth for black business owners." And we're talking this morning about this video that's gone viral online of Black America speaking out against what's happening to Trump, saying, look, if you continue to indict, we will unite against President Trump. I asked Florida Congressman Byron Donalds about it earlier this week when he joined me talking about black voters heading into the 2024 presidential election. Here's what he had to say. Watch. Is Black America siding with Trump right now?
Not totally, but I think it's definitely starting to build, especially with black men. Look, the Democrats have had issues with black men for quite some time now because their party believes it's okay to trans children, and black men are just not for that whatsoever. They're like, man, are you kidding me? My boy is a boy, my girl is a girl. Leave my children alone. So, and then you couple that with the fact that Joe Biden's been a disastrous president, especially on the economy. So those are two big reasons why black men are already starting to give a side eye to Joe Biden and the Democrats.
Congressman, this is an important voting bloc, obviously, and the Democrats feel they have Black America in the bag. What are your thoughts?
Maria, first of all, this is an area I've been looking forward to for quite a few years. I've always believed that when it comes down to getting our country back, that this is going to be the Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, the minorities who have not been sitting at the table back in the day. Because we have our basic conservative roots, and that's faith, family, free market education. We have been digging into that, have always been doing that. I've always thought that we, at some point, begin to pull back our communities, we'll pull back our nation. This is what's happening right now. I had no idea that Donald Trump will be the genesis of Black Americans realizing that the Democratic Party has never been our friends. When it comes down to misery, hopelessness, divisiveness, destruction of family businesses, destruction of families themselves, there's nothing been worse to the American people, and particularly Black Americans, than the Democratic Party. It has become very obvious as people see this corruption and this unfairness that's been done to President Trump, that the Black American people now are, there's something called empathy. They've been dealing with this for decades and realizing this is really, number one, not the way our country should work. And Donald Trump did what he promised to do when he came in for 4 years. There's no president in our history that put together a promise from the very beginning and held his word. And with that being said, from day one, he's the man that's going to give us the respect from our enemies and our friends the minute he steps in office. And I think all Americans are ready for that, no matter what side of the aisle we're sitting on.
Well, despite the 4 indictments, Congressman, I mean, we really don't know how this is going to play out. You believe Trump will become the nominee and potentially win an election as he's being attacked and indicted 4 times?
I do. And I'll tell you why, because I have faith in American people. We are a people that believes in empathy. We believe in the fairness. We believe in second chance. And we also understand, we push back, we see corruption. We're being lied to, and we don't like that. American people, once they figure that out, we step back in a big way. So I think it's going to be a very, very exciting time for us to move forward, to say the least.
It certainly is, in a stunning moment in time, Congressman, and you are in a position to affect change. Thanks very much for being here this morning. Burgess Owens joining us.
Maria.
Thank you, sir. We'll be right back. Stay with us.